Hey guys, what's going on? It's Talk Forest TV back again with your warm-up show. It is match night. It is Forest v Newcastle down at the City Ground. Obviously, Forest are in Carabao Cup action. They'll have got Newcastle down there, so I think it will be a really tough game. Obviously, Forest I'm expecting a couple of changes for the game tonight, especially against Newcastle. I still think it will be Swan, especially with how we will set up and how we will go about it. So I think it will still be a Swan team. I think that Newcastle will come down here. They'll probably make changes. It still will be a Swan team, but I don't think that they will. I think they will be stronger than we think, and we all know anyhow they will put a really strong team out. So that's what I do think on team news. I think that it will be a good night. Obviously, it's not even sell out on the recording of this video, so I think that if it sells out, it sells out. I think it will be a good night, a good atmosphere, especially with Newcastle being down there. So I think that will be an interesting one. I think that that shadowed that it will be a good test for both teams and be good to get minutes inside of players, especially the newer players. It's depending on who it is and that. So I think that.
How's it going, Talk Forest TV? My name is Jack and welcome to my preview for Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle United, taking place in the second round of the Carabao Cup. It is Forest's first game in the Carabao Cup. Obviously, we're now a Premier League side. Past 2 years have been the same as this one. We enter in at the second round stage. And to be honest with you, I think we probably drew the hardest team possible. I think Newcastle were probably the team that ranked the highest out of the sides in the competition that enter in at the second stage, so it couldn't really get much more difficult than this. Maybe West Ham could have been a shout in there, but I feel like Newcastle's probably the hardest. Potentially, say Brighton, but they didn't really finish very high last season. But look, yeah, I think Newcastle's probably the hardest out of ranking wise that we could have got, and of course we go and get them because that's just what Forest do. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, see how things pan out, see how it goes. Be a real good tester to see sort of how good we actually are, how improved we actually are from last season. You know, you've got to look at the first two games. Bournemouth are a decent side, so, you know, that is all right. Getting a point against them's not too bad. Then we beat a newly promoted Southampton side, and we looked really good in that one. You know, from what I've seen, we look really solid at the back and caused a lot of issues for them going forward. But Newcastle's going to be a real test of our character, test of just how much we have improved since the end of last season. Against Newcastle last year, beat them on Boxing Day away at St James's Park, and if I remember rightly, I think they beat us right at the death at the City Ground. Or maybe I'm getting confused with the first season. I can't remember, but they beat us, I believe, at the City Ground, if I remember rightly. But yeah, so look, be a really interesting one to see how things pan out. Last time we played against them in the League Cup on Sky, we beat them. I remember Gil Diaz getting on the score sheet. It was around this sort of time of the year as well that we faced them. Sam Byram, I remember, came off injured early on in his one of his first games for us on loan. And yeah, hopefully another win would be on the cards. I think a couple of years ago, or a couple of years even before that one, we beat Newcastle at St James's Park in the Carabao Cup. I think Jason Cummings was on the score sheet that night. So we've got a history of beating Newcastle in our past couple of visits, or appear ties against them, if you will, in this competition. So hopefully we can do it again. And I'd really like to see Forest go on a bit of a cup run. I always want to see Forest go on a cup run. I know A lot of people are like of the mindset of the league is the most important. Anything else is a bonus. We focus on the league, and that's the most important thing. We want to see league success, and I can completely get that. You know, if we're in a cup and it means that it's going to jeopardise our league campaign, then by all means, you know, focus on the league campaign. A cup run's not going to stop you from getting relegated. So yeah, you know that makes perfect sense to me. But I think, you know, if we can balance it well, like we did a couple of times under Cooper, you know, you can't really complain. You know, I want to see Forest win every game that we play. I want to see us go as far as we can in every single competition. So I want us to you know, put everything we can into this game and look to try and get our way through to the third round. Um, I think Newcastle is going to be a tough test. It's going to be a really tough test. Obviously, we know how good Newcastle are. We know some of the players they have. I feel like they may look to try and go a little bit weakened, which could play into our hands. Obviously, last season they did have a lot of injury issues and really struggled with that, and it caused them to finish lower than they probably would have expected at the start of the season, given the way that they finished or the way that they competed the Premier League in Eddie Howe's first full season, getting the Champions League spot, and then finishing outside of the Europa Conference League spots in the following season. It probably wasn't quite what they expected. I don't think they were probably thinking back-to-back top fours. I mean, I know some of them probably were, but I think realistic Newcastle fans probably thought, you know what, we might finish Europa League, Europa Conference League, but they missed out on Europe altogether. So they'll probably have a little bit of a thought on that. They'd obviously like to try and go deep into this competition again. 2 years ago, they got to the final where they lost against Manchester United, so they'll want to probably better that if they could, for sure. But I think, you know, they'll have one eye on the league and a mindset of last season. We struggled a lot with injuries. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again. And they could look to go a little bit weaker. I feel like some of their positions where they have some decent backup players, we could see them maybe making a start. I feel like maybe Vatkadimos might start in replacement of Nicky Pope in goal, so you might be able to see him back at the City Ground again. There could be, you know, a couple of other changes in there as well. Maybe like Lewis Miley might come in, and they might bring in Callum Wilson instead of Isaac, which, you know, Callum Wilson for Isaac is brilliant ability. You know, if you've got the ability to make that change, then you know, you know you're well stacked in that position. I think Callum Wilson, shame that he can't keep himself fit, because he's a brilliant striker on his day, and you know, obviously I don't want to see him on his day because it might mean that he pops a goal in against us, but you know, I really rate him. I think he's a brilliant striker. So yeah, that's not going to be an area where they're going to be weak if they do make a change. But maybe midfield or defence, we could look to try and exploit where they might be a little bit weaker if they do look to rotate. In terms of our starting 11 then, be interested to see what Nuno decides to do. You know, I feel like we've got a good squad in there now, some good replacements for players who we have in the starting 11 at the moment. So it'll be really interesting to see what decision he makes. We're going to see the debuts for the likes of Carlos Miguel. We're going to see maybe Ramon Sousa to get his first appearance in a Forest shirt, or Jota Silva maybe get a bit more time than he did against Bournemouth. We might see Omar Bombadeli brought back into the starting 11. I know Nuno quite liked him alongside Murillo for parts of last season, so if we could see him in the centre-back position, that could be quite interesting. We might get to see a little bit of a switch up in the midfield too, maybe start Dominguez for a change. I don't know, or is he going to go full strength? We're going to see Chris Wood up top, who ran Newcastle ragged last time he played them, or is it going to be a case of Taiwo coming in to start? We'll have to wait and see. I really am intrigued to see what Nuno decides to do, if he's going to go a little bit weaker or if he's going to try and go full strength. I would actually be quite interested to see Ramon Sousa start, and maybe De Sousa Morena, or seeing someone like you know, Jota Silva getting a few more minutes. Be really interesting to see some of those players, maybe an opportunity to rest a couple. But I think for me, I know I said I want to go as far as we can, and I really do want to see that. And then I'm suggesting that we might swap a few players out. I'm still saying I want us to give it all, and I want us to go out there and win it. I'm not saying, oh, give a chance to a couple of the fringe players or players who we haven't seen yet, see how they do, and you know, blah blah blah. I still want us to give absolutely everything that we can, go into it and really you know, aim to win, aim to progress, and aim to do what we can. But if we can do that by bringing in a couple of other players and giving them a chance to potentially show why they should start in a league game, then I'm all for it. I absolutely am. I absolutely am. I love the cup competitions. You know, a couple of years ago we got to the semi-final of this competition where we lost to Man United on a two-legged affair. That was the same season that Newcastle got to the final as well. We could have had the relegated Southampton. They weren't relegated at the time, but we could have had Southampton, who we beat home and away last season in the semi-final. But unfortunately, the draw gave them Newcastle and gave us Man United. So what could have been in that one? It could have been another trip to Wembley. You know, we've had FA Cup runs that have taken us to quarterfinals and things, and I think, you know, it can be a real pick-me-up if the league form isn't going well. We are doing quite well at the minute in the league. 2 games, 4 points. We can't scoff at that at all. An away win also under our belt, which over the past few years have been very hard to come by. I know we beat Chelsea fairly early on in the league at home. Not at home, sorry, away from home. But this one is our first away game of the season, and it was a win. So amazing stuff. But hopefully we can go into this one with a bit of confidence and see it as an opportunity to beat a Newcastle side who you know, have started off the season all right. They beat Southampton, but they had 10 men, so it was only a 1-0 win in that one, which, you know, I think if they had a full 11, they could have done a bit better, but circumstances made that a little bit different. And then they drew against Bournemouth, and they lost, if it wasn't for a change in the VAR right at the last. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do, how they're going to show up, and I think it's a good opportunity for our boys to really show what they're made of, and really give a team like Newcastle a run for their money, and you know, really just be like, we are actually here to give it a go this year. Like somebody that I know I was talking to earlier on, and I was like sort of joking, oh, look at Forest, we're 7th in the league, and he was laughing, saying, oh, you only played Bournemouth and Southampton, you know, you're still going to go down, or you're still going to struggle. And yeah, maybe that's true, but I think a winner here will really show what we're capable of, what we're made of, and I really think we can. I think we can go and do it. You know, I do. I think we can do it. It's going to be hard. I can see a world where Newcastle win, of course, but you got to back the boys and be confident. I'm going to go with, I've gone for a 2 on Forest win in both games this season, and I'm going to do it again. I think 2-1 is likely to happen, but hopefully we can go on and get through to the 3rd round, be in the hat. Derby today lost against Barrow, I think it was, on penalties, which I'm not going to lie, I did chuckle when I saw that. So hopefully we can make it through, and we can be in the hat for the 3rd round. Yeah, really interested to see how this one goes. Really looking forward to watching it, and hopefully we can book our passage through to the next round. So yeah, if you did enjoy this video, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and you are enjoying what you're seeing here. Let us know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on the game and all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Come on, you Reds.